think that's scary for people to do that. Like they want to nickel and dime. Hey, look, I've got to get mine. But like if you just go into a position of serving and you go and serve with the intent of really giving into that relationship, the financial aspect and return of that is 10 times. I am very fortunate to have them as business partners, and I've been very blessed over the last couple of years before this came about, is having them as strategic partners. I'm in the financial education space, if you will, and they're just big hitters inside of it. And I was fortunate enough that I had made a name for myself inside of it, and they just brought me to the big boy table, if you will. And so what was really cool is at the beginning of this year, I walked away from several businesses that I own just because of an unhealthy environment, if you will. It was like a huge risk on my part. I did it at the end of February, right? And so then end of February hits, COVID hits, and then I'm starting from scratch. And what was cool was Hubert and Jeanette were there for me. And so it's just progressed into what it is today, right? And so, now we're fortunate enough. One of the things that we did this week was merging all of our companies together, and their teams and our team, and now we have our portfolio of Woodford Wealth consists of StephenBrooksTrading.com and relationships with Dan Passarelli and Troy Noonan, and then we have Trade Thirsty under the Woodford Wealth portfolio at this point. We have Hubert Centers Group under the portfolio of Woodford Wealth. We have Octane under Woodford Wealth. We have 3X underneath Woodford Wealth. But what that allows us to do is to really grow substantially, because now we can put all of our resources together. We can put processes and procedures that make sense across the board so that we can be super aggressive. But what I will say is, like, the two things I've really learned from them is I'm more of a big vision strategy guy. Like, hey, look, this is how this is going to play out. This is what we need to do over here. Hubert's ability to be able to storytell, Hubert's ability from he invests a lot into like startups and stuff like that, and has made an incredible living from that, and has grown his own guru brand. Having him as a partner, and when we're working with other guru brands, and him being able to give that perspective, that first-hand perspective of this is what you struggle with as a trader. I just come at it from a marketing point of view. He's able to do it from a guru/marketing point of view, because he studied the game, is amazing. And then Jeanette, like her ability to just run a team from a high level as well, and then she knows what needs to be done inside of the business from a marketing point of view. She knows what's going to work inside of a webinar, and then she can have that team go execute on it. But the biggest thing, what they've taught me is just the power of relationships.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And it's okay to take an L for that relationship, right? Like, hey, we'll lose money on this deal this time because of the longevity of the relationship, because we're going to make it back tenfold. I think that's scary for people to do that. Like, they want to nickel and dime. Hey, look, I've got to get mine. But like, if you just go into a position of serving and you go and serve with the intent of really giving into that relationship, the financial aspect and return of that is 10 times.
I want to touch on that word serve there, because you talked about having, you have your Rolodex, and you have people in your network, people that you knew that you could tap into when you're starting a new venture. But that didn't just happen by chance, and that just didn't happen because you had a reputation. That really happened because of people you've served along the way.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that, like how serving people, how that comes back to you, and the benefit of that to your business?
Yeah. So how I'm here today with Jeanette and Hubert as a business partner is purely because I served. Like, that story and that testimony itself is so true to that, right? Like, we're gonna make millions of dollars over this next 12 months together. We're gonna make a huge impact, but how that relationship came about and she called me in a time of need. Someone referred her to me because she was in the middle of a launch and her stuff was messing up, and so she needed an expert. She reached out to her network, and someone in that network who I had already served said, "You need Scott. I'm going to give you his number personally." So she calls me, right? And at this point, like, I'm running a six-figure agency, but she calls me. I've heard of her, but I didn't know how big she was at the time, right?
Yeah. I
just knew someone was in trouble. This is a working mom that had a team, and I know what that's like, and she needed a solution. And so instead of saying, "Hey, look, I'll send you a proposal, it's going to cost this," I said, "Hey, look, just send me your username and password. I'm going to jump in, I'm going to fix this for you.
Yeah.
Let me have a go look around, see what I can do." And, yet again, on her part, she didn't hesitate. She didn't say, "Oh, man, like, well, you might be able to see stuff inside of my account." Like, she could tell that, hey, look, he's not trying. So I went and served, and I took care of that. And in the meantime, she went and Google searched me, right? And she started seeing, like, all these things about me as a marketer, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, he's not a customer rep, dude. Like, and so, she called me back, and I think, like, she tells the story a lot when she's introduced me on stage or to other business, like, networks, is that, like, she called back and had that, I don't want to say, like, humble, because, like, I'm nobody at the end of the day, man, but said, "Hey, look, I think we could do a lot more together, and the fact that you were willing just to jump in, I've got to tap into that. What you are good at, I'm currently missing.
Right.
What can we do together?" And we never had, like, a business, like, we've never structured a deal together. Like, it's never been like, "Hey, look, you're going to pay me this," or "Here's this proposal," or "Here's this operating agreement for us to go into business together." It's all been like, "Hey, okay, this is what you need. This is how we're going to go do it." And then say, "Hey, look, I'm going to go compensate you for that." Or I've given her opportunities that, like, I know will make her money, and so I present them to her. "Hey, look, this is going to help your team. This is going to help your business grow," and we've just taken care of each other. And that's why she became a strategic partner. But because of how I've served that and served her team and purposes, I'm now in a position where I'm running Woodford Wealth, this big company that is now, a multi-million-dollar a year entity.